Welcome to the Meat and Potatoes podcast. We're here with Kyle Stringham, who is the founder and CEO of PureTech. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Thanks so much for having me here today.
You bet. Part of our Utah Outdoor Association partnership. Always fun to have y'all from that group on because most people like enjoying the outdoors and most people like holding actual tangible products. For those listening, apologies, but we do have a couple of the polls here, and we'll get into looking at those here in a second. But I'm interested in, where did this idea come from? Basically, the founding story. Give us that.
Well, avid outdoorsman for me. Lots of water filtration in my past. Lots of scouting events. Served as a staff member at scout camps. Not to go too far back, but my grandfather founded several of the camps here in Utah, Wyoming, some up by Yellowstone, so Idaho. And I took my boys, which was my scout group, up to Camp Law one year. And we went on a 21-mile day hike into the backcountry. The boys were running all over the trail, having all kinds of fun. But we forded several rivers. And we finally had to filter water. We ran out of all the water, and I knew it was coming. We were more than prepared. I had several water filtration pumps. Some of the other leaders had their systems, and we jumped into filtering water. Well, after, a good 10, 15 minutes, we started to switch the pumps because we couldn't get access to enough water quickly. And so the experience that was happening was one of so many times before, and that's on your knees. You've got a sore back. I've got a back injury. Down onto your chest using the life straw that we all like to use, or that we all try to use. I'll put it that way. Really hard to get water. But anyways, this really got frustrating. This took a good, we got to probably about 35-minute mark. I turn around to the boys. I filled up all of their vessels, and they'd already drinking through most of their water, right? Which is normal. So then it's back to filtering water again. 45, 50 minutes sitting there, it kind of sparked like some frustration in me that went kind of deep because I'm holding a $400 pump. Another guy has a $200 pump. These are awesome systems. These are brands we all know and love, but it just didn't give us water quick enough. And that's not normally the story for one person, but it is something that everyone relates to, is using these filtration systems. Not many of us will carry them on our hikes or backpacking. And when we do have them, we won't use them very often. We'll take the easiest way out, or, I call it that we'll hike to dehydration. And that means that to the point that our body's thirsty enough, it's calling us to get access to that water. And so as I hiked up to the top of that trail, really looking back down at that river, it was that, it was like a lightning bolt, and it kind of hit me. There's got to be a better way to get access to water. I'm going to carry a massive pump. I bet I could get one that's 4 times the size. And then I thought of how stupid that was. And then I looked at the diameter of my trekking pole, and it was like, yeah, this would be so simple, and I could build this, and my background has nothing to do with this, but here we go. No.
Very cool.
But yeah, the idea for a trekking pole with not just a water filter on it, but a really nice water filtration pump came to light, and PureTech was born.
I love it. Great founding story. So now for those listening, just visualize, use your imagination, but it looks a little bit like a ski pole.
Yes.
Trekking pole,
Trekking pole, ski pole.
Use it
adjustable.
For balance to ward off any attackers, whatever it is, right?
Multi-uses with a pole, of course. I've fished with it, stab a polar bear in the eye with it, right? You can push your kids up the trail. If someone's slow, poke the guy in front of you in the butt.
Yep.
Yeah, just keep it up.
It is a very versatile thing. So, and the filter's at the top near the handle.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So it didn't look like this in your imagination, and my guess is this wasn't the first prototype, right?
Yes. Oh man. Like I said, you have these ideas and you think it's going to be easy, And then a lot of the real work starts. And so the first prototypes were pretty archaic. They were from Home Depot. And I'd pulled together some brass piping and things and thought about how it would work. Then I had cut up, what are $300 and $400 filtration systems, and we'd machine things and set them on top of regular trekking poles. And then from there, it was off to a much deeper process, which was designers, engineers. We were really discovering what materials. Some of the earlier prototypes were, 2 and 3 pounds. Just one of the poles was that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so just a lot of work back and forth, trying to figure out the best ways. And really through that process, we discovered that it was all about flow rates. And it was all about the filtration media, the diameter of that media that would be used. And not to go too far in this, but some of Utah's incredible design and engineering firms, I'd like to do a shout out to Swarm Engineering and Design. They put a lot of work into making this what it is today. And then incredibly enough, tons of feedback from me, the outdoorsman, what I was envisioning, what I anticipated. And I wanted what every outdoorsman wants. I want durability and quality. I want something nice that's not going to fall apart. We call this number 36 because there's 35 others. I've got a big case of failed prototypes, hundreds of 3D printed parts, and random ugly filters, you name it. We probably tried it. So,
Yeah.
but we're here today with a finished product that's got thousands of miles on it, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, that is fun. Like if there was ever a museum for PureTech, you'd have those prototypes spread out and people would be like, that's how the whole thing started?
I'm only hoping and praying that happens, brother. No.
All right, so you extend the pole, and again, for those listening, just use your imaginations, but you walk up to a river. How does it work?
All right, so we've got a 70-75 aluminum trekking pole. That's aircraft aluminum. We did think to use carbon fiber, but there's a byproduct in that process, the carbon fiber dust. Some of that can actually refine down far enough to where it will dissolve and go into this hollow fiber filter. So not at this time. But anyways, you get to your river with your PureTrek pole and you're ready to filter water. So at the base of the pole, you have what's called the bell housing. That's the disc that we all see at the bottom of the pole. There's a little cover there. That is our first stage filter. So you're just going to go ahead and give that a twist. That is the entry point for the water. Then you're going to whip out of your back pocket. This is the only piece of equipment that you carry outside of PureTrek, which is your hydration tube. So you're going to plug that right into the top of your pole. And then you're going to go ahead and insert it in the water and then release the pump. So 3 easy steps. Again, insert, attach the drinking tube, and release the pump. You stick it in the water and you're going to pump 4 or 5 times. And you're going to be filtering water at 0.2 micron or 99.999% filtration at over 2 liters a minute. Now, PureTrek's flow rates are some of the highest in the industry. And I can confidently say that because a lot of the flow rates that get stated on packaging, they can be using pressure compressors or pressurized systems to force water through these filters. But most of those filters, there's no humanly way possible that we're going to draw that much water through it in the amount of time stated. This really is up to how fast can you pump your arm. And then the magic that occurs inside of PureTrek is really the diameter that you're looking at of the trekking pole tube. That's what makes the trekking pole and the water filter such a genius combination. As I tell people, in the outdoor industry, there's just not many multi-use products that really are super cool or really functional and make sense. And it is magic when those are found because now you've combined 2 vital products into one. And that's kind of, PureTrek. I probably went too far with the explanation, but
Perfect.
This is a best friend on the trail. Once you get used to using it and, the first couple times you might fumble for a second, but after that, you're going to be upset if your PureTrek poles are at home and you're out there needing access to water.
Yep. It's all fun and games until you get thirsty. And then most people
Yes.
don't know what it's like to be really, really thirsty.
Oh man, let's get into that. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been there. And, back when there was Boy Scouts and you treated 12-year-old boys like they're supposed to be treated, which was kind of rough.
Yeah, rough and tough. Get
We-
them thick skin.
We went mountain biking in Moab, and we were all in much better shape than the scout leaders.
Yep.
So we got to the end of a very, very long trail in August in Moab,
Mm-hmm.
and this one ended near the Colorado River. And I had my last sip of water there, and
Oh man.
we started looking for trying to apply the Boy Scout principles.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a buddy, his name's Matt. I haven't talked to him in 15 years, but
So Matt lived. Okay.
he
good. No.
had this look, like a stranded person on a private island. And he had his little water bottle, and he was doing a beeline for the Colorado River. And we're like, no,
Wow.
no. And he's like, I don't
do
care.
it. Don't do
I'm
it.
going, like, that's real thirst. And he did.
Yeah, he
And,
did. He just dunked his head in and he was going for it.
went for it.
All the silty Colorado.
Yep.
Oh,
Not knowing what's upstream, right?
about 5,000 farms or no, 500,000 farms. Anyways, yeah.
So with this, right, I'm picturing like, one, you don't have to take 10 pounds of water on a long hike, as long
Yes.
as you know if there's rivers.
Mm-hmm.
If you're fly fishing, and some, fly fishermen go up for 5 hours and down for 5 hours.
Yeah, I respect those guys. That is such a hard trek up and down those rocks, slippery all over the place.
And you don't want any extra gear fly fishing. This
Yeah.
weighs next to nothing. Perfect.
Yep.
You've got all you need right there. And for those that have ever had Girardi or dysentery, and
Oh,
it's well worth it.
oh.
to not have
We
that.
cannot emphasize that point so much more. I know that the jump to take the risk and just drink, and when that catches you, you will forever be scarred for the rest of your life
Yep.
based on the process of healing from giardia or dysentery. Oh my God.
No
You
good.
should be happy to be here today.
So I love the problems you're solving, and the skunk works, right? The iterations, the various prototypes, and then eventually, like, it sounds like real engineers that are really good at
Yep.
science and math and all of that.
Mhm.
Now with an end product. So congrats to get to this point.
Yeah,
How do you
thank
go about marketing and selling a product like this?
Oh man. So baptism by fire, does that work for
Yeah.
everyone in the
Usually.
consumer goods or outdoor industry?
Yep.
Well, I will say you just don't know what you don't know until you know, right?
Mhm.
So, enter Pure Trek. I just delivered some of my first units from the successful Kickstarter campaign, and that went great. Had some good traction, and we started selling products. And I jumped in full bore. We had, a lot of people talking about it, but this was just post-COVID. We were just healing in early 2022 last year. Marketing firms had made a ton of money from the years before. It was almost like people were raining down money in 2021, right? For anything that was outdoor space. There wasn't much that had to be applied to do that. And so we kind of went that direction as well. We got burned. And when I say burned, a lot of, from inexperience, right? But I lost some large amounts of money that were into marketing firms, promise the world, deliver the crumbs. And so we had to kind of build from that and understand what actual model we were going to go to market with. And so what we've really found with Pure Trek, and this is something is some outdoor companies come out and they immediately get looked at by the pros, right? The professionals, and those are some of their athletes and people that they show in their marketing, right? Pure Trek's not that company. We're the company that really goes for the everyday outdoorsman. For the person that's not confident enough to get out on the trail because they feel like they don't have the right gear,
Mhm.
or, the mom that just, single mom, she wants to get out with the kids, make sure they can filter water, the family, the weekend warriors, all of it. I like to tell people we're for the other 85, 90% of the market. I have respect, and I'd like to think of myself as a pretty bad outdoorsman and survivalist, but there's so many people that, we need to speak to in our marketing that just need to help them get outdoors and enjoy nature. And so But to get back on track, we did direct to consumer. This was our first marketing run. We really had to understand our buyer personas and who was our optimal customer. That had really targeted in on men/women. It was kind of like a 60-40 split. And it was really of the upper age, it was middle to high income, and it is someone that, just wants to get outdoors, not necessarily that pro in things.
Mm-hmm.
So getting in to speak with them and the messaging and things are things that we kind of mucked around with for quite a while. Now we feel like we've learned so much from that we've been able to refine the messaging a lot more and understand exactly where to target and how to go. And I thought it would be so much broader, and no, it's really so much more niche in who you're talking to in the marketing. And then the customers almost open it up themselves as you get to marketing. So, but I'm just entering in with another marketing company, and we've been doing some of our own. I will say one of the biggest jumps from last year, PureTrek, was actually went, a shout out to the World Trade Center for Utah. We went to ISPO in Munich, Germany. And ISPO was a phenomenal experience. That was my first time in Europe. But ISPO, something important about them is I kind of hold them, and so do most outdoor industry professionals, as the most renowned and strict judging panel in the world. And so we entered what is the ISPO Awards for 2022. We put PureTrek in. I kind of did it, I felt like, too quick. I don't feel like I went as that brand that came with 50 pages of talking about sustainable, 4 pages of features, and then, 2 pages of benefits, right? I think I kind of reversed that because I was so early in the journey. But ISPO did award us an ISPO Award for 2022 and nominated us and then showed us off to the world. So through PR, I talked a little bit with Mr. David Politis. I know he's a part of this place.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a great guy, and I just kind of pushed some things around so that we could get the word out. And now we'll really expand that world into the industry. So marketing is an ever-changing thing, and the biggest thing I could advise is you need to be constantly looking at your numbers, readjusting, and then going back and looking again, and don't ever take your eyes off them.
Yeah.
So
No, that's great insight. And congrats on the award over there in Germany.
yeah.
Where do you guys manufacture these?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't. So part of marketing, really quick, this is part of the manufacturing process. So when you see PureTrek or you go to our website, that's an easy one. If I can say it, I'm sure they know it, but
Yeah.
puretrek.com, that's PURTREK.com. So there's topographical lines on the PureTrek pole. It's black with gray topo lines. These are actually the same topo lines of where the idea was had. So this is where we were. We took those topo lines, applied them to this, and then we put the location of where we had the idea, which is somewhere around Yellowstone, we'll say. And so it's pretty cool branding for us.
Yeah.
Our manufacturing journey was just a ton of help from people here in Utah. For the first few years as I developed these and really understood the materials that we were going to use, a major contributor was UAMI, Utah Advanced Materials. What is the full? Utah Advanced Materials Manufacturing Initiative. There we go. So anyways, amazing people. I was at the State Rotunda with them recently, but we had looked at several companies here, and it was really understanding how many pieces we needed to mold, how many molds we needed to cut in the U.S. So I got quotes and bids from several mold manufacturers here. There are some incredible pole makers here in Utah, by the way. One is Black Diamond, one of my hero companies. Everyone knows their engineering and design is flawless, and you can always look to those guys for true design. They do a great job. So we've tried to model what they do. But through all the research, understanding it all the way up to Logan, out to Colorado, Farmington area, the bids for manufacturing here were just too high. And so the overall intent for PureTrek, though, officially is to get manufacturing back here in Utah. It is not a complex product to make. It's a bill of materials that, could be a little bit larger. We've got some amazing improvements that are coming to the product as it sits. But right now it's manufactured inside of China. And I was actually referred from one of the large outdoor gear companies. Many of the large truck pull companies know of me. I've met a lot of their owners, amazing people, and the water filtration companies, but they referred me to their truck pull manufacturer. And so with that relationship and that smooth introduction out in Colorado at the outdoor retailer, I moved into manufacturing with them.
Very cool.
So, and they've done a good job. They really stuck with us. It was a 2-year journey. So we manufactured through COVID. We started the mold cutting process in about November. January, they were shut down due to COVID. And that was my first experience. We kind of just tried to keep pace through the pandemic. And then towards the end of the pandemic, we got started back up again. I always get a lot of questions. Why did it take you almost two years and 3 months to manufacture a product? And part of that is we did teach a entire manufacturing facility how to set up a clean line, right? This is a filtration system, so we keep everything very clean. But then how to manufacture a actual pump and how exact the specs and all the measurements need to be as you're working through that process.
Yeah.
So we have a big instruction manual, and I've learned a lot about working with Chinese manufacturers. So
I bet. Well, everything you
lot.
described is not for the faint of heart. I
ask my wife. No.
I thought that would be the case, and you've kind of just proved it. You guys have earned where you've landed here. You mentioned 99.999% of bad stuff gets filtered out, right?
Yes. Yep.
So Jordan River, if somebody was thirsty enough, they could go use this in the Jordan River, yes or no?
So yes.
Okay.
Yes. So here's the only caveat I give people, and it's easy. Filtration's confusing to everyone. All the numbers that that in, I don't know, it feels like in industries like this, they deliberately will try to confuse you. So you have 0.2 or 0.1 micron, right? So you put the point and then the number. That means that you have a filter that's going, or I would say 0.1, 0.2, so not 0.10 or, 0.08. Anyways, this is something that'll get really all of the water filtered for North America, okay? What it's not going to take out is chemicals, right? If there's something in there that isn't coming from a natural space, nature, you're in the mountains, you're filtering water, you're great. But if you're in the city center in New York City, the next one is a 0.01 or 0.02 micron. And that is actually virus filtration. So these are third world country filters. PureTrek is going to be launching one of those as well soon. But these have much lower flow rates, but they filter at a much higher rate. Those are the ones that are going to remove those viruses that you could get. Now, if you're thinking, should I drink the water? Okay, are there monkeys? Are there rats? Are there people? Okay, yep, we might have viruses. And if you're in the back country here in the US, no, you just need a 0.02, You really just need a basic 0.2 micron filter and it'll take care of everything. So just don't drink arsenic. No, joking. Sorry. But yeah, it'll protect you. North America, our waters are still pretty clean. We've done a pretty good job. So as long as it stays that way.
Yeah, very cool. So there's the sustainability component of this, right, as well. Nothing's more infuriating than seeing plastic bottles floating down a river or on a trail somewhere.
Yeah.
This would help mitigate that in a small way, right?
Absolutely.
But it's part of the solution because you're out there and enjoying it, and whether you're a bum and you throw it down on the ground or it just slips out, other people have to watch that. This enables so you don't have to do that.
This definitely does. I mean, do you want to talk about sustainability for a second?
Yeah.
And I don't normally give the normal message that everyone, it is, we know through so many industries, right? You have someone that manufactures Legos, they're going to talk about their sustainability. We realize the impact that it's having on the environment. And so I think it's in everyone's background should be dealing with this issue. We all have byproducts that that we can do work on and help with. But on that trail specifically, I mean, water bottles are a huge thing. Plastic is a huge thing. When most people just opt to say, forget it, I'm carrying 5 water bottles, right? Or, I'll carry 3 water bottles and I'll go to the trail. I was back in the Cirque of Towers, which is in the, it's Wyoming, Rivers. What is it?
Wind Rivers?
There we go.
Wind Rivers.
Yeah. It's the end of the day, guys. Give me a break. But Wind Rivers, anyways, there was little pieces of garbage all over on the trail. And so something that I try to tell people, and with Pure Trek, of course, you're not going to use all of those water bottles, and that helps. But the overall thing is that we all take with us the message that we're all part of the problem. And so on that trail, anytime I go hiking, I go backpacking. My kids know this. My scouts know it. You see garbage. I don't care if you're in the city, pick it up.
Mhm.
If someone thinks I would laugh at someone if they smirked because you're picking up someone else's garbage, but we need to help get things in the place they need to be. I almost make it a game when I'm on a trail because you'd be amazed how much garbage you can actually find if you're looking for it. So just take a little bag, take a little piece of your backpack that you allocate to, throw garbage in, and then don't burn it in the fire because that's kind of defeating the process. You're putting stuff into the atmosphere. Just take it out with you and however many pieces. I'd like to get to one day where we can actually have people take pictures of it. And then, actually I will do that. You take photos of your 100 pieces of garbage and I'm going to give you 10% off your trekking pole purchases.
There you go.
Just let's make an effort to make it better for everyone, not talk about it, but really do it in all aspects of our lives.
Love it.
So cool.
In agreement there. I big proponent of people getting outside their comfort zones.
Yes.
Oh
man.
And
Yeah.
being hot and being cold and being sore and being tired and kind of keeping that fighting edge, right? And oftentimes you're limited by equipment. This takes a little bit of that excuse out as well, right? Like you can go for another 2 miles because looking at the map, there's cold, delicious water there, and you're going to have this filter.
Yeah.
I think it would enable
Yep.
a lot of people to have a little bit more confidence and watch a little bit less Netflix.
It definitely would. I mean, from comfort is what did I say? Comfort's an epidemic right now. We are all comfortized so far that none of us can get off our butts to really go do things that are actually, how we came to, be the humans that we are today. Maybe my rant will be something, but so the problem that I've seen so much in the world is all of us, and you're all going to relate, we're tied into our screens. And I am too. We're all tied into technology in some way. The marketers, the powers that be, the government have always all figured out ways to get our attention, get your money or get, whatever they need. We have basically gotten so comfortable in our lives that we have more than lost our connection with nature. And guys, really listen to that when I say it. You have lost your connection to nature. And we have done it through our technology, through our evolution of who we are as humans and getting to where we are today. I mean, we're talking about ChatGPT and all this stuff I'm a massive fan of, but we evolved over 6 million years, right? 6 million years, the humans are working their way through evolution. And, up to about 200-300 years ago, we lost the work ethic, the man's man, the woman's woman, like the people that really are the reason we're all where we're at today. And so many of our normal, so many of the good things about humanity that got us to who we are all under attack right now. And so one of the big things that I feel can help people is to reconnect with nature.
Yep.
Your body naturally identifies, whether you feel it or not, that bird chirping in the trees, the wind blowing through those peaks, that dirt under your toes, the water going through your hands, all these things are directly impacting your body's physical fitness, your mental fitness. The more that we can get outdoors and reconnect with nature, the better we will all be as a civilization. It's going to calm down so much of this arguing. People are going to put so much of this absurd, ranting and all these things that are going on around us, and they're going to realize that the real importance is our connection with nature, and it's truly our connection with how we're going to survive going forward.
I agree. And you don't need to cross the Sahara or summit Mount Everest.
No,
you
none
don't
of us
need to do any of that, right?
Yeah.
Just get out and appreciate all the bountiful blessings that exist in nature and apply those to your daily lives.
Absolutely.
Much
Yes.
better. Well, this has been great. I can't wait to use it one day, and it does look good. And now that I
you.
can see the topo on it, it's even cooler. So thank you so much, Kyle. Congrats to you and your team. Way to make it through all of these challenges. It's very admirable.
Can I share one other thing?
Yeah.
So, some important news. Pure Trek, we have gone through a lot, right? Last year was education time. Take the brand to school time. We launched a wholesale team at the end of last year. I can't say who, but I have one of the best outdoor water filtration sales rep companies in the world. I'm now working on distributing Pure Trek out to the outdoor industry. Some of you outdoor industry lovers, you're going to start to see these in some of the major chains. You'll see these in your local gear stores. We've assigned reps for the Rocky Mountains, the Mid-Atlantic, Texarkana. We've been setting up rep teams around the country. So distribution for Pure Trek is really going to get going. And then, of course, we back up our products. If you have a problem, please reach out. I don't care if it's a year down the road and you have something, please reach out. But check us out, and we just can't wait to see it in the outdoors. If I come running up to you on the trail because you have a Pure Trek pole, don't think I'm weird. I'm only going to kiss and hug you. You'll be okay. So there we go.
There you go. Look forward to that. Thank you so much, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate it.